Welcome back to eCollar 101, presented by eCollar Technologies and myself, Ted Efthymiadis. It's week 4 and hopefully you did all your homework and are really putting in the time. You should be getting more focus and attention and engagement with your dog now. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to take it to the next level, transitioning off leash. There's lots of cool stuff that we can do and some tools that you can use to make this a little bit easier. The first thing that I really like my clients to do is to find a fenced-in area just to make it that much easier. The bigger the fenced-in area, the easier it's gonna be. Another thing that you can also do is set yourself up with a long leash. So what this is just a really cheap piece of rope, and it's very thin because I want it to be lightweight so that the dogs feel like they almost don't even have anything on. On the end, I've just got a little ball here, just in case I need to step on it, it'll hook on my foot. Another thing that's really beneficial to use too, especially if you're in the woods, you can use something like this bell. It's really loud, you can hear it for quite a distance, and that can be really good, even if you're in a field, or definitely if you're gonna be in a forest type situation or anywhere out in the woods. So what we're gonna be doing today is focusing on getting our dogs to come and transitioning off of the leash. So the first step is we're just gonna be starting on the long line like we did last week. Our next step, we're gonna be dropping the long line and letting them drag it. Your third step is gonna be to use your longer line, at which point we can just transition off of the leash altogether. All right, grab your long lines, grab your even longer long lines, get your dogs excited, put your e-collars on, make sure you have good contact, grab some treats, and let's get started. So week 4 with Sasha, she's doing really well, and we've got her on a long line, just the black long line as you can see here. She's really not all that into her treats today, so I've just decided, okay, well, we're gonna give her some attention. She seems more motivated by that. Of course, if your dog is a little bit more geared towards attention, feel free to do so as well. I've got my dogs out here as distraction. I find that it tends to help if your dog is social with other dogs. They tend to want to stick around to be with the other dogs a little bit more. There's kind of that pack mentality that sets in a little bit. So feel free to use that to your advantage if you find that helps out. So we've now just transitioned into our longer lead here. This one is actually 75 feet. It is probably longer than it needs to be, but it's just a really light lead that we can allow the dogs to drag. And the thing that's good about it is it almost feels like the dog is off leash at this point. Now, I'm not too worried about her just taking off and going, just trying to run away or anything at this point. Now, she can run right through those woods and there's no fence there. But at this point, we've got her on her lead, and if I need a little bit of help, I can just go to it, just give a little bit of a yank on the lead, and she's gonna come right to me. So just that little bit of pressure on the lead is all that I needed to get her to start coming my way. Now, so we've made a couple transitions here. First from the black long line to the green longer line, and at this point we're going completely off leash. She's just running around doing her thing, having fun, and it's definitely helping having the other dogs here as well. So that is just a key point that people oftentimes forget. Use pack mentality to your benefit. It's really important. So what we're practicing here is something really basic that a lot of people forget to do. Clicking the leash on, clicking the leash off. It gets your dog used to having the leash go on and off. And this is really beneficial when your dog is about to go onto the leash because you're going home. This will prevent your dog from running away when they think it's time to go home. So I think it's interesting to mention that in this entire session, I did not use the continuous stimulation. It's 100% tone with her, lots of praise, keeping it fun. She does really well. Week 4 with Larry, he is doing really well, and I wanted to bring out my dogs just to see how his social skills were with other dogs. He's never really been around other dogs, so it's kind of a question mark at this point, but he doesn't really seem to have any interest either way. So transitioning onto our red long line here, we're just starting to add a little bit more distraction. His owner is off camera there as well as the dogs, and he's doing really well. We tend to be doing mainly tones at this point. He's not needing a whole lot of red continuous, which is great. We've now transitioned onto our green longer line, and he's very responsive here. He's doing really well with everything, and so we're starting to give him a little bit more room to range on that leash. You know, it's a really long line here, and it's very lightweight, so it's almost like the dogs don't even know they have it on. So he does a little circle here. I use the leash just to give him a little bit extra feedback. He comes right back and does a really good job. Okay, so at this point I have just dropped the green longer line at this point, and what you'll notice at about this stage is he really starts following along. You know, I am Mr. Treat at this point, you know, and I don't feel like this is something that every dog owner should be doing with their dog every time they give a command. You know, there is definitely a time and a place to use intermittent reinforcement to get your dog to sometimes expect a treat and sometimes just to expect a pat on the head. But at this stage, we're making it really fun and we're paying him every time he comes back. Now, if he wants to go, he has the opportunity to just go, and he's not. He's following along and he's doing really well. So transitioning off leash here, and Larry is doing really well. As you'll notice, he's definitely focusing a lot more on me and just kind of following. He still is very much a slave to his nose and kind of goes off and does his own thing. But at this stage, he's off leash and he's doing really well. The tone is definitely starting to move him, and he's being really responsive just to the tone. For the last probably 5 or 10 minutes of training, I did absolutely no continuous stimulation, which is great. As you can see, I'm really trying to use his nose to my benefit here, doing a lot of luring with the treats and trying to make it as fun as I possibly can for him. You know, when you are dealing with a dog like Larry, who was bred to put their nose to the ground and just go, you really have to be engaging and be captivating. So make it fun, be enthusiastic, and it will make the process that much easier. Okay, so both Larry and Sasha did great with the training today, and here's your homework. For the next 7 days, you're going to do 2 sessions a day, maybe once in the morning, once in the evening, and make it fun. Make sure your e-collar's turned on, it is fully charged, you have good contact on your dog's skin, you've got lots of treats, and you're gonna be very motivating. Remember that you are in direct competition with everything in your surroundings, which means you need to be motivating. You need to communicate with your dog so they know exactly what it is that you want them to do. So you start out with your dog on a long line, say come, hit your tone button. If they come back to you, great, throw them a party. If they don't come back right away, add a little bit of continuous stimulation with our e-collar, maybe a little bit of guidance with the leash so they know which way to go, and release it when they start coming back to you. Pay them every time they come back to you and make it fun. As you start transitioning to adding more distractions, you may have to increase your e-collar level a little bit. That is relatively normal with most dogs. Of course, feel free also to decrease that level if you feel like you can get away with it. We're only using the levels that we need to be using to get to the good end result that we're looking for. So, don't go up too fast, take your time, be patient, and always be quick to drop it back down if you think that you can. Now, I understand that this training is not complete with Larry and Sasha. This is actually kind of just the beginning. Yes, they're doing some off-leash, but this is not real-world stuff. You know, I take my clients to the point where they can take their dog basically anywhere and not have to worry about those distractions. So we've still got a lot of work to do with Larry and Sasha. And the reason it's not in this DVD is because we can only pack so many minutes into a DVD. That's what ecollar101.com is going to do for you. So we're going to continue to add videos and maybe some feedback with the owners as we're moving forward so that you guys can continue to see
how the dogs are doing as we're adding more distractions, as we're proofing things and generalizing things. And all that means is making it real world. How are the dogs going to respond when they're at the lake and there's a dog there? How are they going to respond when they see a deer and they want to chase after it? That's the real world stuff of dog training, and that's what we're going to get to as we continue to upload videos so that you can follow along in the process. Now, I realize that doing off-leash for the first time is very stress-inducing for most people. Trust me, I have seen people have panic attacks. I have seen people, it felt like they were going to have a stroke when they thought they were going to have to do off-leash for the first time. And I'm very honest with my clients and just saying, listen, it might take you a little bit more time to build up that level of confidence, and that's okay. I'm not going to rush you. Don't worry, we'll give you some more time. We'll give you a couple more weeks, maybe a couple more months with some clients, and we'll allow you to get there when you feel more confident. Now, if you feel like you've rushed things, then go back to the beginning and start from scratch. If you feel like you still need help, reach out to a qualified trainer that you think can help you. There's nothing wrong with that. I know in my own personal life, there's lots of things that I outsource, and if I needed help with my dog, I'd be the first person to pick up the phone and find somebody that can help me. So this has been eCollar 101 presented by eCollar Technologies and myself, Ted Efthymiadis. If you want to check out their website, it's www.ecollar.com. They've got all kinds of great accessories for your e-collar. They've got great warranties with everything that they sell. So don't be afraid to reach out to them if there's anything that you need. Thank you so much for watching this video series, and I truly hope that this has allowed you to take your dog to the next level and enjoy off-leash freedom.